All right, just a short time ago, Ben Carson addressed the controversy that he really stirred up with his comments when he said that he didn't believe that a Muslim should be president, that he would never advocate for that. So today, he backed off a little bit, saying it would be okay if these Muslims swear off Sharia law and put the Constitution first.
Now, Carson has drawn criticism from many corners, from nearly all of his Republican rivals included. Well, now he is trying to clarify further what he meant. Here's what he said just minutes ago at a campaign stop in Ohio.
It has nothing to do with being a Muslim. That was the question that was specifically asked. If the question had been asked about a Christian, and they had said, you know, would you support a Christian who believes in establishing a theocracy? I would have said no. And then some people would say, he's against Christians. No, that's, you have to be able to look at the context in which I'm saying it.
But what is the context? How is it not discriminatory?
The context is, as I said before that question was asked, anybody of any religious faith whatsoever, if they embrace American values and they place our Constitution at the top level above their religious beliefs, I have no problem with them.
So let's talk about this with Katie Packer-Gage. She was deputy campaign manager for Mitt Romney's presidential bid, and Harris Zafar, a Muslim activist, author of the book Demystifying Islam. Great to see both of you. So Harris, give us your take. You obviously heard what Carson originally said that sparked all of this. What do you make of his qualification or clarification that he made just now in Ohio?
Well, thank you, Kate. Clearly, first of all, it seems someone finally educated him on the Constitution and what Article 6 says, which is why it looks like he's changing his point of view. But it's still a qualification, right, that I can only support a Muslim for president if he or she takes a special oath of allegiance to condemn Sharia law. And it's still a unique position to put Muslims in, since nobody has ever expected a candidate who believes in the Bible to reject verses of stoning for adultery or shaving a woman's head if she doesn't cover her head. The same way, you don't expect a Muslim to have to reject beliefs that are harbored by extremists in different parts of the world. We have to understand first what is Sharia, because he talks about that. And it's supposed to be how you lay in compliance with following Islam in your life. It's not meant to be a system of governance, because Islam doesn't legislate religion. It only talks about man's relationship with God. And so I think his unawareness and ignorance of Islam and Sharia still exists. What he knows is based on hearsay, not on facts.
Yeah, and there are many different interpretations of Sharia law, and whenever someone takes the oath of office as president or in any other office, they swear to uphold the Constitution. So by definition, they're swearing to make everything else subservient to that. Katie, what's been remarkable here is the universal condemnation from Republican candidates, current and past, including your boss. Let me just read you the tweet from Mitt Romney on this. He said, of course, no religious test for the presidency. Every faith adds to our national character. It's been interesting to me to watch all the Republican candidates, one after another, in a tight race where there is a diversity of opinion here, essentially come out and say Ben Carson's got a little bit wrong here.
Well, I think that it's a very dangerous thing when we start deciding what other people believe aside from what they have actually communicated. You know, I think this long-time debate we've had about the president's faith, when, you know, he has said publicly what his faith is, I think is a dangerous thing. You know, this was something that particularly in 2008, you know, Governor Romney, you know, came under a lot of criticism from people because of his Mormon faith. And, you know, leaving aside the things that he communicated about what he wanted to do do for the country and what he had done historically as governor of Massachusetts, you know, there were all kinds of interpretations about what he must believe because that was his faith. And I just think that's a dangerous road to go down. You know, candidates, they have to communicate, you know, what their plans are, what their vision is, and they should be evaluated on those things.
Also, when you kind of just look at it through the purely political lens, Katie, how much of an impact, if at all, do you think this could have in terms of Ben Carson's support? Joe Johns was saying when he was talking to folks going into the event today, Carson was getting it was all support. He was all support from the folks who were going into that event. You look at surveys, look at a New York Times, CBS survey from 2013, 60% of Republicans had an unfavorable view of Islam. Even more recent studies kind of say the same thing. So how much of an impact do you think this will have, what he said?
Well, I don't think it necessarily, unfortunately has a dramatic impact on, the people that may or may not support him, because there are a lot of voters that share that law or share that view. But the role of leadership is to show leadership and to inform people when they're incorrect about things. And, a lot of Americans, the only exposure they've had to Islam is what happened on 9/11 or other sort of terrorist attacks. And it is important, I think, for our country's leaders to, to bring some reason and some wisdom to the debate and say that something's wrong when it just is wrong.
We're seeing that condemnation from other presidential candidates. We'll see what Ben Carson has to say and if he'll continue to clarify or qualify his remarks as we go forward. Katie, it's great to see you. Thank you. Harris, thank you very much.